Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Taurus, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. So Taurus, I hope you're doing well. I'm doing a little bit of a different kind of reading today for you, and it's about your blockages, boundaries, and breakthroughs. So for today's reading, I'm going to be pulling one card from the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I'm going to read it intuitively, and then at the end of the reading, I will tell you what it says in the book, and then using the Meraki Tarot for your tarot reading. So Taurus, let's see what we have for you. Taurus, Cancer got this card, I believe. It's the Shapeshifter. The Shapeshifter. Number 15, which corresponds to the Devil card in the Major Arcana. The Devil is, you could be dealing with a Capricorn, as that represents devil energy as well, but it could just be a card of something burdensome, something that I don't read it the same way that I did for Cancer. For you, it almost seems like there's just a lot of, there's something, you're feeling bogged down, you're feeling weighed down by something. Classically, the Devil card in the Rider-Waite Tarot kind of has the lovers trapped and bound in chains. And so I feel in your case, it's as though your earthly responsibilities are kind of causing you to have to maybe think outside of the box. And because you're thinking outside of the box, you're having to adapt, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing for Taurus. I mean, Taurines that I know are very, very responsible, but it's weird. The Tauruses that I know, kind of, some of them know the rules to break the rules, and some of them are just like straight and narrow and don't deviate from a path. So I guess it depends on what side of the line you fall on. But in this energy, with this imagery, right, we're piecing things together that don't necessarily commingle normally. They don't coincide normally. And so you're having to think outside the box. So we're going to get 4 cards for the base spread, 4 cards for clarifier, blockages, boundaries, and breakthroughs, advice from Spirit. 3 more. Okay, you got some extra cards here. What are your extra cards? You got 3 extra cards. I'm going to take them. The Ace of Cups in the reverse, the 10 of Wands, and the Death card in reverse. Ace of Cups in reverse, the 10 of Wands in the upright, Death card in reverse. Yeah. See, especially this card. You know, I was saying you're feeling bogged down. Well, here it is. Here it is. 10 of Wands talks about trying to release very heavy burden. Very heavy burden. You know, the thing about the Wands is fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And it talks about experiences that we've garnered along our path because of decisions that we've made that have led to certain actions, right? So, you know, you didn't wait for life to happen to you. You happened to life. But along the way, not all of those lessons that we've learned were pleasant. Some of them could have had to do with survival, that's what I just heard, out of necessity. And I think you're taking stock of that right now. You're recognizing, number one, you're standing very tall and powerful, but also that it's time for you to kind of put some of these things down, that they no longer need to be a part of the ongoing story that you tell yourself or tell other people. What do I mean by that? It's kind of like if you meet somebody for the first time, this is a very specific example and yet completely random. If you tell somebody for the first time that you've met for the first time, yeah, you know, I'm the oldest kid, so of course I'm the responsible one that kind of has to take the hit for the younger kids. It's like, that's a very specific way to present yourself to the world. I'm the oldest child, I'm the most responsible one, and I always take the hit. That's a very particular way, and that's a very particular example. So there could be like a story that you're telling, and that could be completely true, but is it true now, or was it true before? And if it's true now, is it because you're perpetuating that, right? Do you always have to be the responsible one just because it's expected of you? Does that mean you have to do it? Because who is perpetuating it, other people or you? And you keep telling that story. It could be a part of your, I just heard claim to fame. So, you know how there's some times when we use our experiences and also our trauma as our claim to fame. It's just like, this is what I'm known for. I'll give you a personal example. Like, I used to tell, I'm a Cancer, so you know, Cancers are known, which honestly, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's true, like for being moody, like emotional, right? We are the water sign. So we have a lot of emotions and they're just right there. They're like right above the surface. So before I was able to articulate myself, I would be really moody and passive aggressive. And so when I would introduce myself to people or they would get to know me, I would always just say, oh, I'm grumpy. I was born grumpy. I came out of the womb grumpy. I would actually say that sentence out loud to people. That's how I would, it's almost like trying to keep them at a distance. Like, I'm a grumpy person, get used to it. And there was one time, I think it was like after, you know, a few years ago after my spiritual awakening, that it's like in meditation or something, it like dawned on me that I had been literally telling this to people. I've been telling people that I was grumpy and moody. And I thought about it, I'm like, I'm not grumpy and moody. I mean, everyone's grumpy and moody sometimes. But like, I'm a really loving person. Why don't I ever tell people that? Why don't I ever tell people that I'm a really good friend? Or at least that I think that I am. Why don't I ever talk about that? Like, why am I drawing attention to what is probably the weaker part of my personality, right? Because I'm a human being. Sometimes I get grumpy, but it's just like that. It's what's the story, what's your claim to fame, and you're telling yourself. When I stopped telling people that, then I almost stopped acting that way. I stopped acting grumpy because there's so much to be grateful for, right? You know this. You know how much there is to be grateful for, but it could be difficult for you at this time to grab hold of it. The Death card in reverse, this is Scorpio energy. You could be kind of caught in a cycle, right? The moth is not able to kind of fully take off. Moth energy often represents the unconscious, the psyche, the psychic. So with the Death card in reverse, it's like, this is all in subconscious energy right now. You're just trying to bring something to a close in order for you to kind of flip this card around and accept this beautiful offer of love that Spirit wants to give to you. So in the area of your blockages, we have the Ace of Swords. That's your next ace. You have Ace of Cups so far, Ace of Swords, and the Page of Wands. So even though this is in the area of the blockages, I actually think that you're really close, if not already, in the process of having your epiphany moment. Just like I was in meditation and I thought, oh God, I tell people that I'm grumpy. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but when I built my whole kind of personality around that, not my whole personality, but part of it, that's kind of life-changing. You know, like, how do I talk about myself? How do you talk about yourself, Taurus? How do you envisage yourself? What do you think of yourself? Ace of Swords is all about thinking energy and the cerebral, also the tactical. It's Aquarius, Libra, Gemini energy. But the Ace of Swords is an epiphany. It's a revelation, a realization. With the Page of Wands, it's like kind of being able to take a first step into something new, like a movement into something new. What is that something new? I'm going to ask Spirit, what is the thing that Taurus wants to walk towards? Knight of Pentacles. Well, whatever it is that you're walking towards, it's very slow. Knight of Pentacles is the slowest knight, and the knights bring messages, and they're individuals of action. So, I mean, you're still probably kind of, I mean, how fast can we really run when we're carrying so much, right? So it's almost as if once you, I understand that these are two different animals, but it's like once you kind of let go of these branches and, you know, kind of let the antlers kind of release, that it's almost like your neck has more flexibility, but you've been carrying such a burden for a long time. This is how I interpret the image, that it's almost like, do you remember how to lift your head again? Without that weight, do you know how to hold your head high without that trauma, that story, that past? Do you know how? This is in the area of the blockage, but like I said, with this Ace of Swords, I think that you're really working through it. I'm kind of excited for you because I feel like it's progressive energy. It's slow, but it's progressive. In the area of the boundaries, you got the Nine of Wands in the reverse. You can see this little bear here, kind of encircled by these branches that have little tiny kind of cherry blossoms, like sakura energy. The Nine of Wands in the reverse, and the Sun in the reverse. Very atypical Sun card. The dandelions kind of blowing in the breeze. The Sun is in reverse. You know, it's still a good card in the reverse, but in the boundaries, it's almost kind of saying that the Sun is just beneath the horizon, and you're kind of looking at that horizon line like a boundary, right? Just like in the Death card. The Death card typically has a representation of the Sun in the deep background of the image in the Rider-Waite Tarot. The Sun coming up over the horizon, like the darkness is going to end, like the cycle is going to start all over, that everything in life is temporary. Just kind of like this dandelion, right? Like it's so delicate, and yet you blow on it and it just kind of disintegrates into the breeze. There's some situation that's very delicate for you right now. And you could have been trying to maintain the status quo for a very, very long time. Nine of Wands in the upright talks about the wounded warrior kind of trucking on, just maintaining. Wow, Spirit is really putting up a wall this time. I don't know why. I can't tell you how many times I've talked about the Nine of Wands, but it's almost like they've washed that definition from my brain and they want me to say something else. It's stopping the cycle of repeat, because the 9 leads to the 10, right? The 9 leads to the 10. And so you're trying to almost like cut a way out, cut away. It's like I see you in the forest with like a machete or like a sword or something, and you're just, you know, maybe it's the sword. And you're just trying to cut through all of the tangled mess. The sun is illumination and clarity as well. But it's also life-giving energy. And so right now you could be, your energy could feel really, really depleted. So now they're kind of saying it's important to ground yourself, like bare feet on the grass. I mean, it could be cold where you are, but just try it. Like, even if it's for like 3 minutes, just put your feet in the earth for a few minutes and connect with Mother Nature. Put your hand on a tree. I talk to the trees all the time. Oh, what did I just say? What did I just say? The Lover's card is represented by this beautiful tree. I can't tell. It looks like a lemon tree, actually. That's amazing, isn't it? Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. I'm so thankful for Spirit, my spirit guides. So put your hand on a tree, speak to the trees. Trees are so wise. They will give you so much if you acknowledge them. They're all around. We need to acknowledge them. They can hear you. I know this sounds totally crazy, but they can. I've said this in other readings. I've had strangers, and I'm telling you, strangers, never met them a day in my life, start talking to me, and like 2 people have said, oh, the first guy that I met was a total stranger, told me that the trees love me. And then another woman that I met, she was like, oh, you have a connection with the trees. I mean, it was like, what? So even me, it's like, I believe in all this stuff. It's just really astounding when like earth angels or messengers come through in human form and they just like say stuff to you, and you're just like, I'm just sitting here minding my own business, right? I'm telling you, just really connect, right? You're an earth sign. Connect with the element that feeds you, that feeds your soul. The Lover's card, it talks about a choice. It can talk about divine partnership as well. So this could be something that you might be trying to break an old pattern with a loved one. It doesn't have to be a romantic partnership, but it could be that you're trying to revitalize something and you're wanting to do the real work, to really take accountability for your part and do the work and say, you know, I remember the love that we share and it's abundant, and I want to continue to help that to grow. This is very beautiful. And what does every plant need to grow? They need the sun, right? So I feel as though there's higher stakes involved for you. It's not just about you. It's about you and a divine connection. But the Lover's card is also about a choice, being at a choice point. in the area of the breakthrough, recognizing your spiritual gifts, the High Priestess in the upright. The High Priestess is Pisces energy, and she sits at the veil between this world and the next. Very psychic, very clairvoyant, cognizant, clairsentient. Sees all, says nothing. Really connected to the intuitive center. So in the breakthrough, I think this is you just realizing, Hanged Man in reverse. See, this is like emergency, right? Whenever the sirens come through my readings, it's like, pay attention, please. Like, I hope that you've been paying attention, but take it to heart, like really, truly, deeply, that you are a psychic entity. Like, it's like literally underneath my, I don't know if you can see the lights. It literally just went underneath my window. You are a psychic being. You have psychic ability. And we all do, but it's about tapping into it. It's about not just tapping into it, but then using it for its intended purpose, its higher purpose. Like, a spiritual life, in my opinion, and in my experience, doesn't just mean that you're, going out and giving to others constantly. If you're an empath, you do it anyway. But as a light worker, yes, we're here to raise the vibration of humanity. But it starts with your own happiness first. It starts, you can't raise anybody's vibration if your vibration is crap. So you have to tap into what it is that makes you so freaking special. And it's wrapped up in this ability to tap into your intuition. Your intuition might lead you down a path where you start to monetize your hobbies, the things that you love to do. I mean, maybe you're like a chef on the side, right? Or a painter, or like you like to fix cars, or like whatever it is or you like to tinker with things, like whatever it is that makes you calm, at peace, happy. For me, it's tarot. And you just know that when you're in the midst of it, that you're meant to do it. That's when your vibration raises, and you just naturally raise the vibration of the people around you, because you're kind of settled within your own heart. It's a thing that no one can take away from you and no one can touch. And when you're in that place of confidence and self-assuredness and self-possession, then you absolutely have the energy to be there for other people, and then to instill them with their own level of self-confidence, and then on and on and on and on. With the Hanged Man in the reverse, this is the card in the reverse, it's this little bat. The Hanged Man talks about sacrifice. It's going into the tree of knowledge, stepping away and looking at things from a different perspective. When the card is in reverse, it's kind of telling me that you've already been in that place, that the breakthrough is that you've now realized what your gifts, what you are realizing what your gifts are, that they're coming online, and that you're figuring out what you're going to do with them, right? Just, it's like, okay, so you started to understand how your intuition works. It's like, what are you going to do with it? So when the Hanged Man is in reverse, it's almost like saying, like, you're coming out of that tree of knowledge, right? The tree of knowledge. You're coming out of it kind of revitalized. This is the breakthrough. What's the next step? Wow. Abundance. That just, I wish, I'm gonna probably set up different camera angle soon, but it just shot out of the deck. It just slid right out as I was shuffling. 10 of Pentacles is beautiful energy. You have the hare, these rabbits, and the two babies here. Pentacles is your element. It's the earth element. And the 10 is abundance in all of its forms. Stable family, very good health, very good financial health. Opportunities abound. It's the whole shebang, the 10 of Pentacles. And it's like saying that when you start listening to yourself, listening to your guides who are all just surrounding you, and it's almost like I see this as your guides surrounding you and like blessing this and helping you, then that's when the abundance starts to kind of flow in. Let it flow. Let it flow. It's beautiful. Your advice from Spirit, 7 of Swords. See this kind of hawk with a little lifting a basket of swords. And the 4 of Cups. So this is your advice from Spirit. Sometimes 7 of Swords can be a little problematic for me because it can talk about like trying to get away with something. But in this card, it's almost like trying to not take advantage of someone, but take advantage of like a situation that requires a lot of thinking, a lot of forethought, right? The swords are all about the cerebral and the thinking mind, strategy. So it's almost as if Spirit is saying, okay, now that we understand what we're dealing with, we've had epiphanies about the stories that we've been telling ourselves and how we're going to switch that around. We're going to close out the cycles of, you know, self-deprecation, for example. We're talking poorly about ourselves. We're going to stop that. Even if it feels weird to not be self-deprecating, we're going to stop that. We're going to highlight our strengths. And we're going to highlight other people's strengths too. Why not? And we're going to connect to our partner, our divine selves in a different way. In a more conscious way with the Lover's card. It's very conscious. We're going to step into our intuitive power with the High Priestess. And so we're going to take all of that and we're going to put all of our swords in a row, all of our ducks in a row, and start making really, really smart decisions about our future. And the first step is recognizing that there is more to be garnered, there's more to be received than just what is already in front of us. Because the 4 of Cups can talk about a level of apathy. Like thinking there are only 3 cups and that's it. And we're good with that. That's great. That's fine. I can deal with 3 cups. Well, the universe is abundant. So why not go after everything? The whole thing. Why just stop at 3 when you can have 10? I know we're talking about cups and pentacles, but why stop at 3 when you can have 10? Spirit wants to give you 10. One last word, Spirit. One last word for your advice, please. Oh, there's too many. One card, please, Spirit. One card. Thank you. Oh. Page of Cups. Page of Cups can talk about, pages make small incremental steps, right? So in the suit of the Cups, which is water energy, which is talking about emotions and expressing emotions, this could be an apology. You could be, maybe the first step is you saying, I'm sorry for something, or somebody apologizing to you. It doesn't have to be an apology, but it's something authentic. It's an expression. It's a reaching out. And if it's not an apology, maybe it's just reaching out to an old friend, a wise friend, and saying, hey, do you have time for a cup of coffee? I would really love to pick your brain or see you or connect again. So it's small, but it's very significant. So if there's an opportunity in the next few weeks from when you watch this reading to reconnect with somebody that is very high vibration and a positive influence on your life, then connect with that person because they could help you. So that's your reading, Taurus. I'm going to read from the book, number 15, The Shapeshifter. So here's the Shapeshifter. The trickster, the elusive, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is the side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence. When the shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagined. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. For me, it's this card. For you, for me, this is the takeaway. The central pillar is connecting back to the earth. Connecting back to the earth and releasing burdens that you no longer need to hold on to. Releasing stories that you've told others and yourself that may no longer apply. Very important. That's your reading, Taurus. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Taurus.